Do you believe in the paranormal? If you do, then keep reading, and if you don't, and you just want to read something, then read. I've lived in this house all my life, and it's a really old house. I live with some friends that can afford or buy a house or an apartment. I like freaky things, and I get some new freaky stuff for every one of my birthdays. I was recently introduced to Creepypasta, and I love it. I've been reading the stories like crazy. Keep wondering if any of them actually happened, like the rake. I've showed some of my friends some of the more creepypasta, though to me they were enjoyable. One of my friends stayed up 3 nights making sure that eyeless Jack didn't take her kidneys, and my boyfriend made sure he didn't go near any clowns or forests for the last 2 weeks. Eventually they got over it and went back to their normal lives. One time when I was home alone, I decided to make some nachos and read some more creepypasta. I finished reading some of the more terrifying ones when I heard some scratching and soft whispering coming from my basement. I shrugged it off. I usually hallucinate after reading them. I jumped on the couch, turning on the TV to watch some shows on Hulu. I think I may have fallen asleep because I jolted up on the couch in a cold sweat, not remembering what my dream was about. I went downstairs and went down to the basement. And to get a load of laundry and go shove it in the drawers. I heard soft murmurs, some broken laughing, complete with a soft music box melody that sounded far but near at the same time. I got the feeling of fear as if someone was watching me. I shook my head and left the basement, leaving the load in the dryer, too afraid to go back. A few months later, I started experiencing paranoia and memory loss, though I'm only writing about what I do remember. I started shutting out the rest of the world and closing all my windows and doors. No matter what, I kept hearing the music box. It didn't sound like Laughing Jack music box, no. This was a new song. It was broken and far off, and I stayed up so many nights tearing off skin on my arms, crying. This went on for 4 months before stopping. I thought everything went back to normal, but when I was alone I could hear the music box and get the feeling as if I'm being watched. I just wanted to shrug it off, say that my mind was getting to me, because I read so many creepypastas. I never went outside anymore, and when I did, I was in the forest looking for something. I still don't know what I'm looking for, and I wake up in strange places, covered in blood. I never thought that this would happen to me. I went outside in the woods, behind my house. It was a few hours before I came back. I went back to my house. I was gonna go play some games with my friends. I opened the door of my house, and I heard the same music box melody. This time it drew me near. It led me into my basement, only to see a gruesome sight. 2 of my friends had multiple stab wounds and scratch marks on their faces and chests. My boyfriend's throat was slit and his eyes were torn out. The blood was spilt on the floor and the walls. Standing in the middle of the room was a dark figure, what looked like to be holding was a music box. It turned its head and smiled at me. The creature's face was dark as the rest of its body, and where its eyes were supposed to be was bright light in circles. Its mouth was the same, but in a crooked smile. Some substance dripped from its eyes and mouth, and it began to slowly shuffle towards me. I ran to the woods and didn't return until the next day. I went back to my house, and I even went back to my basement where I saw the sight. Everything was gone, and even the blood. I continued to live half a normal life. The only thing different is that I'm half insane, and I hear music box at times. So please, Please help me.